Hey everybody. Wanted to talk with you about Unit 1 and the quiz number 1. So the thing is that we're talking about historical evidence, okay? So the thing is, we need to talk about East Africa, okay? So this is where we have some of the first artifacts and fossils of the first humans to roam the earth. Now, a lot of these things are found at archaeological sites, and they can be a map to all sorts of different ancient civilizations. So, depending on where they're found, especially when we talk about things like East Africa, where we start to see the rise of humanity, civilization, and everything else. Okay. So, the thing is also, when we have these archaeological sites, depending upon what is found there, we can make inferences and look at things. Say, if we found a lot of pottery shards that are also located near animal bones, we would say that this location would be where people maybe were cooking for each other, or where a large group of people at least stayed for an extended period of time. Okay. Now, also, when we look at this, we have to look at the depth of these items. So, if something's near the surface, we don't have to dig very uh, deeply into the earth. That would say that they are much newer than things that are lower. Okay, sort of the idea of stratification. If you've ever seen things like the Grand Canyon, how rivers kind of take it from up top, and then you have all these different layers underneath. The lower you go, typically we say that it must be a lot more ancient. Okay. Not only that, but if we have things that are fossils of living items, okay, if we have things like wood, animals, we can look at the carbon, also known as carbon 14, because of the half life. We can see what's considered, carbon dating. Okay. Now, one of the first discoveries that occurred in East Africa was by the archaeological team of the Leakeys, okay, specifically Mary Leakey. Okay. Now, she was an anthropologist, and it was in the country of Tanzania. So they figured out that there were these bones of early hominids who lived more than 1 million years ago. Now, this skeleton was called Lucy and was one of the most complete skeletons we'd ever seen. Now, at the time as well, this helped us shift the concept of previously we had the idea of humanity grew up and sort of came out of Asia or the Caucasus Mountains. Now, when the Leakeys found the skeleton, and because of the dating and that they walked upright on 2 feet, they went, oh, now it's down in Africa. So this is where we get the idea that humans evolved in Africa and then spread throughout Europe and Asia. Okay. Now, Mary and Louis Leakey also found artifacts. Okay. Now, artifacts are things that are not fossils. Okay. A lot of people kind of misinterpret that. An artifact is an item that connects with culture. Okay, so things like tools, pottery. Okay, now the Leakeys, because they're these wonderful anthropologists, start to create this picture of how early humans lived. So we're looking at things kind of older Stone Age. Okay, where in which we use stone tools. Okay, so they would take rocks or perhaps sharpened shells and used them to chop wood, to carve meat. Okay. And all these things were to help them survive. Okay. Now, eventually, yes, we do have things like beads that were developed, or things where in which we start to bury our dead with items for them to, carry on into the afterlife, some sort of ritualistic death. Okay. Now, fossils are things that are definitely going to be things of plants, animal bones that are found at these sites. Okay. So, other than that, they also found, hunter gatherers. They would eat plants, animals, and we've figured out there's lots of different hominids around the world. Okay, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Australopithecus. Okay, and so there are lots of the different groups of hominids that went over several million